Ragazzi, benvenuti. We have Anna once again after 1 week. She spent here the entire week. The other podcast was much and quick. This one is a little bit more focused. Anna is a person that I met 2 years ago on pretty much TikTok, and it was the moment where I was making a lot of videos about culture, lifestyle, enjoying the little things, and so on. And the first podcast we did, which was also the first time we actually met in person, was in a winery, an Italian winery in Leesburg, Virginia, which then again brings our team pretty much to the same level on why we connected in the first place. Anna, can you give me a quick, let's say, introduction of who you are and how you ended up here?
Well,
Because
that
you're Romanian
yes,
in LA right now.
yes. So,
Put
it's
it in
not
like 2 minutes.
okay. Thank you, thank you.
Nice
2 minutes
and
is
quick.
decent.
I don't
I
need too
could
much
work with that.
detail
So,
because
long
it's
story
fascinating.
short, I come from a family in Romania that's pretty relevant politically and administratively. So I was raised in a certain way, and one of the values was to serve and give back to people.
Okay.
So all my life I looked into doing that and giving back to people and serving people. So I thought in my naive mind that being in the parliament for a year was gonna change the world. I mean, I wanted to do it longer, but after a year I realized.
You were in a Romanian parliament.
Yes, I worked there 6 years with the Chamber of the Deputies. I know it's
Okay.
different in the US, but and then 6 years with the Senate.
Okay.
6 months, sorry. And I realized soon that being as we were talking earlier, young and beautiful didn't pay because they're like, you just sit there and just watch the meeting. It's okay. So I wanted to do much more than that.
Okay.
I did manage to change a law together with some colleagues from university, but that's a whole different story. So I did that, and then I said, you know what, Parliament doesn't work, I'll try government work. So I did that for 5 years, and I realized that that still isn't in the full service of people, which was very disappointing for me because I was there, young and strong-willed and strong-headed sometimes.
So you're saying that politics is not a good way to help people?
No.
You think that as a politician you have less of impact on teachings and helping people than in other things?
Well, looking specifically at Romanian politics, to get somewhere relevant, you need to pay people. And usually you don't get to pay them until you're in the position.
Okay.
So once you're there, you're not in the job of the people, you're in the job of the people that helped you climb the ladder.
Okay.
I'm not saying all of them, but 99% are there. So I just felt that it just doesn't bring the good that I wanted brought into the world. So after 5 years in the government, by the end of which we had already met, me and my husband, I was kind of done with the area. And because of all the stress and the things that happened to me in my previous work, I also got across the somatics and psychosomatics. So through his help and a little bit of learning on my end, I learned that actually being a coach or a lifestyle coach, which I am right now, is serving people better and more directly than anything I've done before. So that's how I ended up doing what I'm doing these days, which is writing books in the service of people and coaching people to have a better life.
Okay. So leaving complete politics, realizing is not probably the best way to help people unless you're up there,
Yes.
and going into lifestyle. Lifestyle is something that can mean a lot of things.
It does.
Lifestyle, when you think about lifestyle, the first thing that pops in your head, unfortunately, because social media tends to be the Lamborghini in a beautiful road, and that's it.
Yeah.
Does that side really help people? I don't know. What is lifestyle to you?
So to me, lifestyle starts with how you feel in your body physically. Are you healthy? Are you fit? Are you eating well? Are you drinking well what you're drinking?
Okay.
So starting with that, to are you sleeping? How's your sleep? How are you respecting that? To how you dress and how you present yourself to society, but also to yourself, because it starts with you. And then from there we go and we build with what are your hobbies and why do you choose your hobbies? Are they mindlessly chosen, or do you choose them with a goal, right? Who do you want to become? Do you want to just play ping pong just because that's what you like, or do you want your hobbies to serve you? That's a choice. One is not better than the other, but it's choices. Lifestyle means the people you surround yourself with. How do you feel? How do you work? What do you work? What's your values? And then when you're not working, what are you doing with yourself?
Okay.
And going all the way to mindset. Mindset is another important component of lifestyle, which fills all the other blanks, like the way you sleep and the way you dress and the way you talk and the way you read or not read and the music you listen to, and all these things create your lifestyle.
Okay. There's one word that you haven't mentioned, which is I didn't even mention it in my example, but it was pretty much underlining. It was there. It wasn't simply
Mhm.
mentioned, which is the part of money. In your concept of lifestyle and what you teach to people, what is where does the money side go in? Does it have an actual value in it? Does it not have a value in it? Because again, going back to my first interpretation of it, what society, how it represents the lifestyle, it's mostly something related to money.
Yeah. The way I'm looking at money is money are a great
In
tool.
lifestyle.
In lifestyle, yeah.
Okay.
Money are a great tool to give you the instruments or the occasion or the surrounding elements that you need to achieve a goal. Now, not everybody needs the money. Not everybody has to have the high lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Some people's lifestyle, I want to live healthy and in a forest and chop wood and just be healthy.
Okay. That is a lifestyle.
That's one lifestyle.
That is a lifestyle.
The other lifestyle, which is what I'm aspiring to and what I love living, is I like opera. I like ballet. I like to go in high society. I like high-end people. And for that, you do need money, not to impress them. I mean, not always, but...
I was surprised that by things like opera, they do not require a lot of money like people think
Well,
they
in
do.
Europe it does.
I was literally going to theaters for like $20.
I know. So in Romania,
It was crazy.
the reason why I'm suffering so much here is because in Romania I was able to, first of all, it's easy to get to.
Yes.
Here you need to make a trip to go somewhere or to the opera or to the theater. In Europe, it's like you're just going. It's there,
You
right?
show up.
And then it's a beautiful venue and everybody's elegantly dressed. And as you say, for $20, you get a really good seat and you have a good show and you have a great night, right? Here, a bad seat starts at like $200. So that there's a difference. And then again, you have to create a trip around it. But going back to lifestyle and money are a good tool, not necessary to achieve a certain kind of, to achieve, the lifestyle that you're desiring, but not necessary.
Okay.
And then I'll say that money, and I know it's a very common perception, but it's true. Money will always show the character of people. Money will always either show how amazing you are or show what a really low person you are.
Okay.
So,
You already started, I mean, you're Romanian. You already, in the little break we had, you already started mentioning, in Europe. I noticed that when it comes to lifestyle, first of all, as an Italian, we don't really need teachings about it because we are surrounded by it. I also noticed that the European lifestyle is not portrayed as something extreme, something big. It's actually quite simple.
it is.
It's quite easily attainable. It's you mentioned earlier before we started recording, we had a little conversation. She mentioned a little coffee and cigarette in the city center for €1 and a conversation with friends. Something very simple that here is never really explained. Why do you think so? Why do people see the lifestyle here as something, as I portrayed in the beginning, and why do we have it this other way in Europe? Like, what happened? What is the big detachment? What happened?
So I think, and this is an unpopular opinion, because the US is the progressive country it is, and the country of most people that go, and they're always on the go, they always need to achieve that they forget to live in the meantime. Whereas we in Europe, we like to live a lot and we go. It's a little less of go,
Scrape by.
Yeah.
Scrape by, little and slow.
And I'm not saying that one is better than the other, again, depending on what you're aiming for in life.
I think none of the two are better.
No, a good medium, but just like communism, it doesn't exist.
Yes.
It doesn't work. But a good medium would be wonderful, because the number one reason why I love Italy so much and I'm dreaming of retiring there is because people do enjoy life, and I love enjoying life, and people are happy. I think Italians are the happiest people, most of them that I've met, that just are happy to see another human being, happy to be where they are, happy with their little cappuccino or espresso, and they just enjoy the moment. It's beautiful.
It is. You need to do. I mean, two different lifestyles. So, again, none of them. I agree on that one. Like, if you go full on American, and we had a conversation with Dave on the last podcast. He was talking about the American dad only working.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us are working even to death and not
Yeah.
doing, and that's it. It's too extreme on that, but it's what creates that cool country that everybody dreams of.
Mm-hmm.
The Italian lifestyle, okay, it's amazing, but I tend to spend there 3 4 months in a row, and after 3 months,
You're good.
I go crazy. I'm like, I feel useless to society right now. I'm
Mm.
loving this, but this is too much. I need to go back.
Yeah.
So I don't think both are genuine if you just focus on that. A good mix is good. We got lucky because we got both. So we go back and forth. We even have the American husband that gives you the full insight, which I think is a
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
It's wonderful
Um,
and priceless. I think it's hard to get a true, deep American, well-informed and educated, opinion, because then everybody on the internet will be there throwing opinions at you, but they are valueless. However, somebody that has seen, because he's very well traveled, has seen all the worlds, the Asian world and
mhm.
the European world and US, can give me a feedback or a guidance that helps me find my place better here.
Okay. That's the one thing you have to do in America. Find a place, figure out who
Yes.
you are, what you want to be. Is it hard to teach these little lifestyle related things, enjoying the little things to an American audience? Because you're in America,
Yeah.
you have a European perspective. Is it hard to teach? Is it something that is difficult to grasp? Explain.
So I think,
Because you wrote books about it.
yes. So I wrote a book called The Lifestyle of a Gentleman,
Okay.
and it was written with Americans in mind.
So Americans are your audience. So
Yes.
can you teach ways of life, creating this lifestyle to an American?
If you can show them why it's practical, if they can see why it's practical and why it helps them in their go, 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 then
Okay.
they'll come. And I'll give you an example. I had this very wealthy, well placed lawyer as a client. He was very high, great high net worth, just up there. However, he, his greatest value was that he knew that something's wrong. He's not doing all the things right.
Okay.
So, and I noticed what was wrong, because conversations about lifestyle kind of went fine, but there was a practical part where I took them to eat so I can correct the bad habits. And he took the fork like this, and he stabbed the leaves of the lettuce and shoved it in his mouth. And I was, what are you doing?
Food is nutrition, that's it.
Yeah, and I'm
That
like,
was pretty much the concept.
that's how you present yourself at a business meeting? That's how you're taking yourself out in front of your clients? Like, that's no. So I had to teach him like a baby. This is how you fold the little lettuce with your
Okay.
fork and knife, and how you eat it. And
So manners also play a role in lifestyle. That's what you're saying.
yes,
Okay.
yes, and lifestyle and the building of lifestyle and manners that come with it are helpful both to create you as a person that enjoys life better and fuller and have an expression of life, not just pass through it, but also it helps you have better business relationships, better relationships with people that you're interested in having a relationship, better friendships, better, family connections, because you know how to take them in, you know how to be with them, how to talk to them, and how to respond to what they're saying when you maybe don't agree with them. You can be
Okay.
like, hey, you're an idiot. Or you can be like, see, I don't agree with this, or I feel different about this. A huge difference. Huge difference.
Yes, yes.
So, yeah, as long as you can show them that the practicality of manners, they'll come and learn.
So manners play a role in lifestyle,
Yes.
in everything.
Yes.
It creates the little world that you want you to build.
Yeah. There's
Okay.
a story of this man. He was living alone. You know, the financial aspect doesn't really matter, but he had people, bringing him dinner and everything. And every night before dinner, he would go and shower, shave, get a nice suit on in his own house, sat down and ate in a beautiful manner with some music on the background, candles on the table, and just ate his dinner alone. But it was the experience he created
Yes.
that made it a nice dinner. It wasn't the clothes, the servant, the money, the music. It was the whole that he created and the way he chose to experience dinner. And I'm not saying that everybody has to have the music, but you can.
To each
And
their own.
yeah, and me and my husband, we enjoy having some music playing in the background when we have our dinner. And I love candles. He started to hate them, but because of the smell, because I always choose the one with the smells. But it's the idea of finding something that creates the experience. It's not just a meal. Just
I I work on cars, right?
Mhm.
I'm all oily and look like a crazy, shitty human being when I work on my cars. I did 2 hours ago before you arrived. And then you shower and you put some clothes on just to remind yourself that you are a nice human being
Yeah,
and you love it. I do it all the time.
and
I have
doesn't
these
feel
two
nice.
extremes. And also, my TikTok is funny about it. Like, one day I look like I just woke up and I look like a meth head. Not one day, or one video. The video right after, I'm like in a three-piece suit, and people say, "What the fuck just happened?"
Yeah, but it's
Yeah, I don't know. It's
but I think that makes you a whole human being, right?
yes,
You experience life from like the bottom, dirty, gritty part to the very elegant and classy and
yes.
beautiful part. And it's important to know both and have a great command of both.
That is something I also noticed. So, in the little hometown of my father, Lanciano, it's in Abruzzo region, like the Tuscany without tourists. That's how I call it. They're mostly farmers. And
Hmm.
it's funny, you see them in the day working on tractors, and then we all go out in the city center, and everybody's prepped out like it looks like a fashion show.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Like 2 hours ago, you saw them sweaty and ugly, and then the
Hmm.
2 hours later,
Everything changed.
no,
All different
it's
people.
yeah, no, it's people do it also to for themselves. Like they
Hmm.
like it.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
like it. They is a lifestyle, yes, and then no extravagant things. Like we go out, we the typical thing of going out is dressing up and literally walking up and down for an hour just to
yeah,
see who's out. That's
yeah.
what they do. And when I explained this, we had a couple of American peers, friends of mine, who
Hmm.
came to Abruzzo. Like, what the hell are you guys doing? You just walking. It's like,
Yeah.
yes,
But it's not just the walk, it's
it's,
acknowledging the people that are there and, you know,
or flirting with the women, just
flirting. Yeah.
walking by. It was
If it
beautiful. I
was
like it.
Romania, they'll be gossiping about, look at them, how they're dressed today. But
Oh no, that's also Italy. That's
is it
also
okay?
Italy. We don't have cameras. We have grandmas watching at the side of the
Yes.
road. Yes,
Yes.
yes, we have that. We have
But
that.
yeah, and you saying that reminded me of my grandfather from my dad's side. When he was working in the garden, because he was very, even though he was the mayor of the
Hmm.
area, he liked to do his own garden. When he was going to the garden, he had his button-down shirts for the garden. I've never seen my grandfather in a t-shirt or a sweater or that had like a high collar or whatever. He was always in a button-down shirt,
Bellissimo,
always, and it was
bellissimo. What is
beautiful.
in your book? Come
So
in. You have a definition of lifestyle.
yeah,
We saw a couple of things, Europe, America. That book is for Americans. Give me a few of the main teachings without going too deep because people have to figure out themselves.
yeah. So the book starts with the fact that as a human being, you have or should have values, right? So it starts with explaining what's an honor code, what is it composed of, and how to decide on one for yourself. I'm not telling them this should be your values. I give them example of values, and then they decide at the end of the chapter who they want to be. Now, the hard part is not deciding who you want to be. It's actually keeping your word to what you decided you want to be. So your word towards your decisions of the values you want to adhere to.
So the hardest part is actually keeping them, is not
Yeah,
creating them
yeah.
or
Because
finding
to
them.
decide, everybody can look at the list and be like, oh, I like this, and this. But can you hold your word to that?
Hmm.
So that's the main part, because if you cannot keep your word to yourself and you don't know who you are, if you don't know your values, you're valueless. And so on that we add the manners. So the manners go anywhere from how you introduce yourself or who introduces whom in a discussion,
Okay.
how to eat in a restaurant,
Hmm.
how, if you're invited at a dinner, how do you present yourself at a dinner, from the, what you bring, or if you bring something, what's the time to show up for a dinner at somebody's home, what are the things you should or should not bring at a dinner. Then I go into couples, the manners of being in a couple, in a relationship. How are you courteous toward yourself and toward your partner, and
Okay.
what are the things that you need to, respect. The art of gifting, that's very important to know, when to bring a gift, what kind of gift, how to decide on it, what not to do about a gift. And it goes on about online manners to society manners, to traveling. I have airplane, I have train, I have bus manners. Like all these are, and it sounds like a lot, but if you look at it, like once you read the book, you realize that, I mean, for you it'd be common sense. For us, it would be common sense, but for a lot of people, it'd be like, oh my god, I actually have to wait for them to descend from the train before I get in, or common sense things, right? So yeah, the book brushes through all the aspects of life, from how you keep your room, or house if you own a house, like how to take care of your house in a respectful manner to yourself and the people living with you or coming to visit you. So yeah, it goes through all the life of somebody and shows you the. It's not about you being wrong because you're not doing that. It's because it's how you enhance your life experience by adding those things to your life.
Okay. Do you think that people follow manners for other people or for themselves?
I think it starts with
It starts with yourself.
yeah,
Now, this is an opinion about what you observed.
what I observe. Okay.
Do you believe that people do things because they want to be observed doing them, or they just do them automatically?
I think that people that do manners, because it requires a self, correction and
It becomes
self
automatic.
containment.
I believe,
For you, it comes because you've been raised like that. But I think that
but even by watching the society you live in.
I'll talk about what I've noticed mostly in Europe because, sorry, America, but I haven't seen a lot of manners here.
I've seen gentlemen here, quite, yes,
Some, but it's rare.
even young ones.
Yeah. But what I've seen is the people that do them because it means something to them more than what it means to other people.
Mm-hmm.
That's my experience with the mannered people I've been in contact with. And does it feel very nice when it happens around you or to you? Yeah, it's wonderful. But some aspects of manners take so much of a person to go a bit out of their way to satisfy that I don't think it will be done by somebody, or not constantly done by somebody just to impress. I don't think so.
Okay.
To the point where I actually had a little argument with a gentleman from Romania that said, well, I'm not gonna go and open her door. Like, it takes more time. We could just like go in and have a nice dinner at the restaurant. And I'm like, it's not about that. And he wouldn't understand. And that's where, I had to let it go and be like, okay, you do you. I'm not saying it's wrong. But then he wanted my approval that that's okay. So
Okay.
that's why I'm saying that I don't think people will go out of their way to be mannered just to satisfy an opinion, at least in Romanian society. I'll put it like that.
Okay. Do you Okay. Now we talked from the perspective of the guy actually doing them. What about the other perspective? And here now I'm gonna put it on the woman's perspective.
Okay.
Specifically, they will punch me in the face. The American woman. The American woman. Okay, your Kika. She's an Italian woman.
She's like, yes, me.
She's an Italian woman. How can I formulate it? Do you? I mean, in what you do you also meet a lot of American women?
Yes.
Okay. Does the American woman notice or take it for granted or want a man that behaves this way?
So,
all three. And you can separate them, you can put them together.
So from my experience, I think some American women expect it.
Okay.
Because they think it's owed to them. Like,
it's owed to them.
You should do that to me if you're taking me out. I've just seen actually recently a TikTok where this woman was like, I'm not coming to date because you're not opening the door for me. And it was pouring down rain. The guy was like, come on, just get in. I heated your seat. Would you please come in? And she said, no, unless you come and open the. And this is like back and forth. And she's like, I'm not coming in. I'm going home. And she went home. There's a fine limit where you should, the first thing with manners is you should not rub it in other people's face that they don't have them.
Okay.
That's unmannered. You can be the most perfectly mannered person. The moment you start rubbing it in people's faces that they're not, your manners are zero.
Okay.
Because a mannered person has the decency to keep it to themselves and not, show other people how low they are.
Okay.
But I think that I don't think that most of the American women or the younger ones understand what's behind the manners. They just want it because they know that that's what's done. it comes more of a like, you owe it to me just because that's what a man should do to a woman.
Okay.
But what's behind that? Because it's not just any woman can open their door, but why does the man do that? What's behind that gesture, right? That depth, I haven't seen it reach. Now, older ladies, and I've met some wonderful ladies in the US, American ladies, very well educated, very refined, they understand, they know how to behave and they know what to expect and, you know, how to behave when it's not delivered. So yeah, that's I think. Did I answer all of it?
Do they notice often?
I
Do
think
they
most of
notice?
them do.
Okay.
Yeah, they do notice it, and they'll talk to their friends. Oh, he didn't open the door for me. What? Oh, and the other part of it is they know a part of the manners, but they don't know the whole deal with the manners. So they think that they should be the first ones entering a restaurant, which is a no-go. The man goes first. He keeps the door open for her to follow, but it's not her who opens the door, gets in. Like, no, many of them get offended that they weren't let to be the first ones in the restaurant. So,
Okay.
so there's that aspect of it too, where they don't know the whole story of the manners, or they start talking to the waiter. A woman never talks to the waiter, and unless the waiter addresses her, and then you have to answer, be a common person. But a woman never orders for herself or says, "We have a reservation for Smith tonight." That's the men's job.
I hope the men are writing right now.
Hopefully.
I hope the men are writing right now.
And then if we're still touching on the manners, a woman always faces the restaurant and the man faces her and the wall or whatever is behind her. Because, I mean, there's a variety of reasons why, but that's how you do it.
I saw that many of the manners because I messed around with them sometimes. I looked at them like the history, how they were born. I noticed that many of the manners were born out of protecting the woman.
Yes, 100%.
A lot of them.
Yes.
Makes sense. I mean, being older thing. Okay. So basically, the book is mostly manner focused. It starts with who you are, who you want to be.
Exactly.
Focusing on respecting those rules and then building a whole persona around it.
Yeah, and it explains why it's preferable that you build that tool. So it's not just because that's how it's done. It explains why it enhances your life experience to sit down and eat your treat rather than walking on the street. It explains why, as we're talking again, why are Italians and French skinny and happy? Is because they enjoy the little moment in a beautiful way, right? When you just keep shoving food in your mouth and walk around, you won't, acknowledge how much you're eating because you're so focused on walking and, right? Whereas when you're sitting and you're taking a bite and then you're savoring it, and then you take another one, or maybe you take a sip of your espresso and then you take a break, then you get fuller faster because you're acknowledging it, and then it enhances your experience, and you feel much more fulfilled at the end of maybe sitting down for 10 minutes versus walking with your coffee here and your little croissant here and walking around or like driving. Cup. Yeah, that's the other thing. Drinking from plastic, eating from plastic boxes. It not only it's not healthy,
makes me angry.
It's disgusting.
Make me angry.
I like my crystal glasses and I like my silverware.
Oh, step down the pedestal.
And, that's a different lifestyle, right? But food tastes different when you eat it with a silver fork.
Yes, I agree. 100%.
It's different. Or you have your coffee from a china cup. There's nothing more delicious than that.
Yes. Do you think that the European man is happier than the American man on average? Happier. I'm not talking about manners. I'm not talking about all the rest. I'm talking about happiness.
So I would say the following. I don't think either are very happy.
Right now or in general?
In general.
Okay.
I think the American man is freer. He has more liberties in expressing how he feels, what he thinks, more so than, let's say, Central, and even like Western Europe, but more Central Eastern Europe, where the focus is not on expressing who you are, being who you want to be. It's more like just get the thing done. So from that perspective, there's more freedom here. Freedom to explore yourself, develop some hobbies, try 3 jobs. You don't have that luxury there because, first of all, there's not that many jobs, there's not that many opportunities, and then you're limited financially. So the freedom is more here. Happiness,
Happiness can be also, you can also mix it into fulfillment and many other things,
I think
making the best of what you have. Put
I
it all
think
together.
the European men think they are, for the most part, more fulfilled than the men here, and I think that comes from the fact that the men here having that freedom of time and exploration. They have time to inquire deeper, so they don't go into creating something around themselves. For the most part, what they
Hmm.
create is like have to unit of like I have to have a kid, I have to have a house, I have
Hmm.
to. Whereas for an European men, I think it's a pride when they have the family. It's not that the have to is it's like I providing for my family. I have they're all Romanian men that I know when they got their first car, they were so proud.
Oh
They're
yes,
so
my little
happy.
shitbox. I love that.
Yeah, see, but you feel fulfilled. So I think that from that perspective, that's why I say I think they think they're happier because they feel fulfilled on what here is seen as have to.
Okay.
And also because of the limitations of Europe, I think that the ceiling of what you can dream of is lower in Europe. So
Yes.
you can attain more of what you can dream of because the dream is like here, whereas here the dreams are here, and you are here trying to climb up. So you will feel, I think, more unfulfilled because there's so much you could dream of and attain, and you're not, or it takes longer than you think it should.
I believe that, okay, it's a mix of what you said, but also a little bit of the opposite. I believe that the American man has more possibility to fulfill himself,
Yes.
and tends to be more fulfilled because of the society he lives in. However, is unhappier because less likely to make the best of what he has.
Yeah.
The Italian man has less possibility of fulfilling himself. That's something I'd say a lot on social media is if you want to float by, stay in Italy. Okay, make the best of what you have because that's something that we know how to do. Everything is cheap. You go on the beach, you have a coffee, you're good. Life is beautiful. But if you want to be fulfilled, go to America, leave Italy with everything. So we're better at being happy with what we have and making the best of what we have, which is even being just able to barely scrape by and maintain a family, being proud of what you have, but we're not able to be fulfilled. And I feel like if you have those two mentalities in a society that enables you to fulfill yourself like America, then you create a really cool combination.
And you said something in one of your TikToks that I really liked, and I think it's important to be like readdressed. And that is, you said at some point that you and the conservative immigrant, like us immigrants, were the American dreams because we have the drive that here lacks because they have so many opportunities and also they take for granted those opportunities. So it's easier to be like, I'll get after it later. I'll get after it whenever, right? Whereas we were here with the drive, we want to get things done, we want to achieve things, we want to get our goals, right? So I think this power in what you're saying when you say that the two minds in America are great, like that triggered this memory. I think it's important that Americans understand the possibilities they have and go for them and not take it for granted because many people like us we're struggling to come here and make it happen for ourselves.
An Italian in America, amazing combination. An American that comes to Italy feels powerless. However, when he goes back to America, he kicks ass 5 times more because he realized what he just gave up. So that's another thing I noticed. So it depends. It depends. Lifestyle, possibilities, opportunities. This is not to American men. You have one thing to tell them. One. Not three, only one. What would you tell them? To American men. And you can relate it to lifestyle, you can relate it to whatever you want, based on what you notice, based on your experience.
I think if they would allow themselves to dream as high as they can and then start taking action steps toward that dream, their life will be a lot more beautiful and more fulfilled. I think they get lost in so many options and opportunities and ideas and they don't follow any.
They spread themselves too thin.
And on top of that, they let usually family and society dictate where they should go or what's expected of them and what they should do. That they don't fulfill themselves. And
family and society?
Yeah, because when family says, "Oh, you should have a house, and you should have a car, and you should have a family, and have 3 kids," and I know a lot of our clients have done that, and they're miserable because that's not what they wanted. So I'm encouraging men and women to look deep inside, question why they want what they want, where do they truly want to get in life, and then start going for it. Because life doesn't wait around.
You don't think that most people want a family?
I
A
think
family doesn't mean kids. It means having a
yeah,
relationship.
I think, and I'm talking about what I've noticed in the American society, I think that men are either so depleted of dating that they'll settle for anything, and they just
I know the
want
feeling.
somebody, or I don't think you do. And then you have the other man that's dating so much and he has so many options that he can't settle for a woman because he's like, why would I when I have all this? There's the in between, of course,
I
where
think it's a mix of the two.
there's that
It's a
too.
back and forth. There's moment of so much options, a
Mhm.
moment of maybe you should settle.
So that's why I'm saying that it's challenging to say if they want a family because of these extremes.
Okay.
But I know that everybody's looking for some sort of companionship, whether they admit it to themselves or not.
Nobody wants to be alone.
So I'll leave it at that. I think they are looking for a companionship in whatever form that means for them, but it's up to them to decide if that's truly what fulfills them or it's an image they want to project or maintain. And now hate.
I'm pretty sure about what I want. Grazie, Anna.
Grazie, Amadeo.